A little bit of news that most viewers probably are aware of. The Game Awards happened on Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Every year this show gets better and better. I gotta be honest. Every year I watch it, there's one or two cringe moments. This time around, just one at the end. And other than that, I think, yeah, maybe it went a bit too long here and there. There were some things I just didn't care about. No offense to anybody. I'm not gonna say anything to offend anybody, but just one or two
Well,
things I'm just like, I
you
don't
you
care.
try, but
I'll try. I'll
come
try.
on.
Just like the handout awards. I just hate that. Like the ones that are like best community contribute. It's just like I don't care. Why don't you take that time to give the award to somebody like best fighting game or best family game? Actually do an actual award instead of like having a panel, side panel just announcing the winners and just standing and just that's stupid.
I
Honor the
never
game.
understood why they do that. It's very strange. Like, oh, by the way, best fighting game is, and it's like, by the way,
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
yeah, I know.
by the
It's like
way.
that's the only
Oh,
thing you should be
it's a
doing.
side note. Okay. Oh, thank you. It's a footnote. Oh yeah. By the
Yes.
way, the best strategy game. It's like, come on,
What?
really? They'll make a
Yeah,
big song and dance about like, best content creator. Like, do we need
it
that?
really annoys me.
Do
And I
we
mean
really need that?
they've always made the mistake. They've done that before best esports game and best content creator, and then they
Oh,
got
sorry.
burned
Did
because
did
like
we not win best content creator
not yet next year,
next next year?
Then the
GPX.
award will it'll
Will
be
have
okay.
meaning. Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
need
Then
to
it will
do a
have
lot of
meaning.
Last of Us Part 2 videos, and then we're a shoe in for
And then
best
we'll be good.
content creator.
We'll
Speaking
all
of
wear the
which,
t-shirts, right?
yeah, yeah.
Last of Us the
It's the best
series. Let's get
game,
hyped,
I
man. Let's get
swear.
hyped for Joe to get
We
killed in
believe
the
it.
series. Whee!
Truckman's a genius. No, but I mean, he was the co-director of Uncharted 4, one of my favorite Uncharted games aside from 3. I do love it. But going to the main point, I thought it was really hilarious that God of War Ragnarok, which I have played, not to completion, but played enough. I'm amazed it didn't sweep the awards the way that The Last of Us Part 2 did. Because I will stand on The Last of Us Part Two's technical merits. I think it's a technically fantastic game. It's a great game. But the narrative, the music, the whole atmosphere, right when the pandemic hit, just turned me off. I was not into it. I'm still not into it. I don't like it. I don't care what people think about that game. But that was like celebrated as a gamer. And that won Game of the Year against Doom Eternal and Final Fantasy VII Remake. I remember being so
Seven
pissed.
re that went
Are you
against
sur
seven remake.
are you surprised though? Really?
No, I'm not
Really?
surprised.
I'm
I'm not surprised.
I
It's like
mean,
in any other year, like Final Fantasy VII remake would just win based off nostalgia.
Dude,
Like,
that is the game every gamer wanted. We
mhm.
got it. And then the industry said, they don't really love it. It is the best selling. I had a friend who said, yeah, but Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't sell a lot, did it? And I'm like, dude, are you nuts? Are you out of your freaking mind? This game sold more than Spider-Man, God of War. This is a first party game now. If you ask me what is the best first party game developed by like other than Sony Studios, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. This game sold so well that they had to axe the deal to bring it out on Xbox because it's supposed to be exclusive for Sony for maybe 2 years or a year. They
Mhm.
axed it. So the next generation, the part two that's gonna come
so
out,
people would
Rebirth,
just buy PS4s just to get
because
it.
it's sold like crazy.
Yeah.
It
5 million copies by August 2020,
Mm.
and that was 2 years ago. So,
Jeez. It beat out God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, all of their wonderful. Oh, these are. It beat out Last of Us Part 2 in sales.
I crushed all of them in terms of the launch numbers. Yeah, the original, like you said, original God of War, Marvel, Spider-Man. Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
it's the hidden gem. It's the game most people love. And I can't believe it. And Last of Us Part 2. So I thought God of War would do the same thing because like that's the North American, the Western world darling. And it's gonna sweep the awards because we're not gonna honor, Elden Ring, the game's obscure, the plot's weird, their graphics set up, their UI design is so messed up. I was so happy. I was in tears when not only did it win Best Direction, Miyazaki went up there, it won Game of the Year. It actually freaking won Game of the Year. Um, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see Miyazaki. And I have a gripe with his translator because he was not doing it accurately. Because Miyazaki every time would be like "bikurishita," and the translator would be like "bikurishita arigato," and the guys would be like, "Thank you." It's like, no, he said,
Yeah,
"I'm so surprised."
I immediately, yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, this guy's either really nervous or he's half-assing it. There's
Yeah,
something. I mean, I maybe I would do the same thing. Maybe I'd be nervous, but I mean, come on, you could translate Bikurishita at least.
I know.
Like,
And
I was so
what a
surprised or
class
something.
act. Miyazaki is a class act. What a sweet and humble man. And my God, did everybody get to see all those haters, the naysayers? And not to say God of War is not a great game, it is a fantastic game. But to get the two of those biggest awards for direction and game of the year go to a game that honestly some people have described as as earth-shattering as Ocarina of Time. Like the first time you moved around in 3D and you're like, this is a living world. I've had people tell me that's how it felt like for them when you first booted up Elden Ring. And I was happy. And I love God of War, so it was great to see Christopher Judge get up there on stage and make Al Pacino look even tinier than he actually is. It was it was because he got up there and I thought Al Pacino was like a pretty decently sized guy. And it's like, holy crap,
It's not that big.
Christopher Judge's huge though.
Mhm.
He
That's
is
true. He's a
huge.
big guy.
But he was so sweet because he called him back and he asked him to just gave him a hug. Because I mean that's like an acting legend right there. And just I was
Right.
amazed. Great awards. Uh Family Game of the Year, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands.
Well
Finally,
deserved.
well deserved.
Well deserved. If we're gonna
That's
hey, if we're
great.
gonna talk about hidden gems, a Final Fantasy remake is not a hidden gem.
Yes,
Kirby
that's a hidden gem.
is probably a hidden gem. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
definitely exaggerating that, but that game, that's another one. Like Nintendo, where is the DLC? What are you guys doing? They put it out. They put it out for Star Allies because people were complaining that Star Allies was bare bones, and they come out with Forgotten Land, and people aren't saying. I mean, it's not bare bones, but like again, it's like if nobody makes noise, they don't do anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
where's the DLC? Give us like another world or something. That game needs it. It's so good,
Mhm.
amazing.
That make you guys happy?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
angry now that Nintendo's not putting out more stuff.
we're just circling back to the same point. It's always a cyclical argument
yeah.
with Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, but
But I mean,
I won't get bogged down in the negativity.
Bayonetta,
It's good.
despite the negativity
Bayonetta.
for Bayonetta 3 that was out there, won Action Game of the Year.
Mhm.
And for the first time, I was thrilled. I was shocked. It beat out Indie Darling, Sifu. It beat out some other games. And I was happy. I was really happy that they gave this game some love, some care. Doug Bowser went up there and thanked everybody on behalf of Platinum and actually made a point to say that the guys at Platinum make some of the best action games in the world. So like that was like a little strategic FU to who, the voice actress, and
Mhm.
all the clout she created. It's just like, guys, these guys are amazing. And I was happy because Bayonetta 3, not that I'm completely done with that game. My plate's already too full, stuff spilling over here and there.
Mhm.
It is crazy. The amount of unique set pieces that appear in the game. Just one shot, that's it. It blows my mind that they invested so much money and energy into this. Great to see that. I was kind of disappointed that music went to God of War Ragnarok. I'm not a big fan of the music there. It's great, but I thought Elden Ring was a lot better. I thought Xenoblade puts all of those musics to shame, man.
Yeah, Xenoblade has
Xenoblade
some great
3 is
music.
just
But I
Yeah.
mean, come on. the game with the true best music, Sonic Frontiers, was not
And the
even
game,
looked at.
it was
It's-
robbed.
I feel like the versatility in the Frontier soundtrack is really, it's probably the most, because it's like you have the whole classical movement things. Like they actually have friggin' movements across the island, and as you like complete part of the island, the music changes and stuff.
Yep,
And then
exactly.
when you're fighting the boss, it goes like full hardcore, like vocal, like rock themes and stuff. Which is really awesome.
Amazing.
But yeah, it just was, it was snuffed, unfortunately. Yeah.
And it got snubbed in Player's Choice because the game that came out 2 years ago, thanks to Tony, got Player's Choice game, Genshin Impact.
Again, I was ranting about this before we started. I don't even remember what I said, but I don't know. Could someone kind of fill me in on how this works? Like they have a category for best ongoing game.
Yeah.
Okay, so put Genshin in there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
But
my kid's running around. He busted it. He's like, hi.
well, what do you think about it, huh, buddy? Let us know why Sonic was robbed.
He's
No,
upset. Sonic was robbed.
naturally. I mean, I just don't understand it. What is the point of having this kind of player's voice thing? Like, why is Genshin in there? Why wouldn't God of War or Elden Ring be in there and then just win? What is the point of this player's voice? It
The
feels
weird
like a
thing is,
weird thing.
right before Jeff announced the winner, he goes, and we've taken out all the bots and all these other factors. And like, I think there's something to that. I think they didn't. I think they want to be able to know that, these voting bots were taken off because Genshin seemed like the type of game that would get people to vote via bots. I just don't get it. I don't get the hate towards Sega. Can I be honest? Let's go back like a few years back. Let's go back to like 2002 when Need for Speed some garbage came out and F-Zero GX was there. And the staff for Sega flew out to the Spike Game Awards. And in the racing category, there were like maybe 3 games. And the crowd erupted when F-Zero GX was announced.
Mhm.
And the winner went to Need for Speed. I don't know what kind of game. I don't, it's just
Was
like,
it Need for Speed Underground?
even if it was, it probably wasn't. It's like 2003. It's still a crap game compared to
It-
F-Zero GX.
You have
And
the
again,
best racing game of all time,
ever. And I
and then
feel
everything
like,
else.
I feel
There's
like
no
it's
comparison.
it's a slight to Sega. I feel Sega was robbed for the Yakuza series, which a
Mhm.
lot of people are beginning to discover is actually more fun and has more narrative legs than the Grand Theft Auto series. Very different games, by the way.
Mhm.
But again, I feel like it's a slight against Sega.
Yep.
Shenmue 2 was robbed. Again, Shenmue 3 wasn't that great, so let's not go nuts there. But the Yakuza series was robbed. Monkey Ball should have won a lot of these family-friendly kids awards. It never did. And now
Mhm.
all of a sudden, Sonic Frontiers, a game that a couple of really good reviewers that I know online have gone up to say like it's not, the small parts in between are kind of janky, but as a whole, the game is amazing. And both of you guys have talked about it. So tell me about it.
Mhm. No, it's a
Well,
good game,
Tony
of
first.
course. No, I really liked it. If you check out our review on GPX Japan, link up here. Okay. No, it's
Sci-fi.
good. And it does feel like a slight because again, they claim that this thing is 100% fan voted. Okay, fair enough. By the way, Genshin was also running a campaign and they were like, we're going to give you guys free gems if you vote. So, is that fair? I mean, okay, sure. All right, whatever. That's fine, I guess. I guess that's legal in terms of voting or whatever.
It's not
That's
legal.
just
It's
that's
illegal.
lobbying, man. Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
you gotta get rid of
buying
lobbying.
votes.
It seems a little bit strange, I think. But again, I just can't wrap my head around how a game that came out this year is
Yeah.
competing with a game that came out 2 years ago. Why? I still, could someone explain why is it in that category? Sega was slighted. They really were. It's a really good game. It's not the perfect Sonic game, of course not. There are some problems with it, but it's still really, really good. And for it not to get nominated anywhere else, it just goes to show that look at, I love the Game Awards. I think they're great. Like you said, they're getting better every year. But
Yeah.
there is this sort of want to turn it into the Oscars.
Yeah.
So of course Elden Ring's going to do good. Of course God of War. They're both amazing games. I haven't played them, but everyone's saying they're good. I trust literally everyone's word because the consensus seems to be that they're amazing. But when Nintendo is only winning 2 awards and they sell more copies than anyone else,
Yeah.
and Sega gets nothing.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 sweeps the awards when it's there, and we know why it swept the awards. There's, you don't have to be, a genius to understand why that happened.
Yeah.
They're going for this kind of Oscars vibe. They
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
are. They want it to be like the games that you can look at this. This is a piece of art, and this is, that's fine. But
I
to
don't
say
want
that
it.
Sonic, sorry, yeah,
Sorry. No, go on.
no, I was gonna say to not even nominate Sonic Frontiers for best music, to not even nominate it. I'm not saying it has to win, but
Yeah.
to not even have it in there, I
Mm.
think it's a crime.
It's a crime, and I think to point out something you said about the Oscars, it's a losing battle. Now Hollywood's done. And I don't mean like, it's done and we don't have any movies being produced. But Hollywood has problems right now. They're trying to figure out how do they stop the machine that is Marvel? How do they stop characters becoming more popular than actual stars? Hollywood is not the basis for the gaming industry to look up to. Like we shouldn't be looking up to these guys because these guys have made a mockery of entertainment, have lost fans with due reason, and they like people to think that movies are artistic um perspectives of expression, and it's like there's beauty and artistry put into it, and I'm sure there is, but games are a different beast, man. Movies a painting, game is you are inside like a world itself. You create a living breathing world, and that's like on a different level. Painting versus creation of worlds, it's like we're not even in the same zones, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
And we should honor games like Elden Ring for its narrative. I thought its narrative, the way the lore was explained, was better. The music was even crazier. um Pokemon Arceus did something crazy. They managed to release a game in January that looks, plays better, and tells a great Pokemon story better than Scarlet and Violet. That game should have had a lot of awards on it. Kirby, Family Game of the Year, sure, but like graphically, man, this game is insane. Fighting Game of the Year. Why was Sifu up there? Sifu was Fighting Game of the Year. Sifu has nothing to do with one-on-one combat, two people fighting online. It has not, but again, it's an indie darling, and of course, we can't regret the indies. That's their backbone. It made no sense. I feel like there's a lot of pandering to certain studios, especially a lot of studios in the Western side of the world. And, you know, Capcom Fighting Collection didn't get nominated. Some games in there, it's a remaster. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was nominated, or the fighting game with JoJo in it. That's a remaster. That's a remaster of a fighting game that was released 2 years ago, just like Genshin. That shouldn't have been on that list. DNF Duel was a new fighting game that came out this year. Nobody cared about it, right? It didn't win. Even though most of the fighting community is saying one thing, the Game Awards is doing something else. And I feel that's what I feel with Sonic. I feel like every single person out there is like, bro, the music is fantastic. I would say better than Elden Ring, better than Xenoblade. There's more diversity. There's more tracks. How many tracks did the soundtrack for Frontiers have? You said it's gonna come out soon.
There's like 6 CDs or something like that. It's crazy
Jeez,
how
like
much
they,
music there is.
this is a game that another studio managed to put together on the same level, not quality, on the same level as Breath of the Wild. This is exactly on the same level as Breath of the Wild. And they managed to make it work. No other game has come close. I don't want to hear about Immortals Phoenix Rising being like Breath of, it was not even close. That garbage, like it's not a garbage game, but it's like the attention to detail that Sonic Frontiers has. Geez, man, they changed things up.
Mm.
At least player's choice, at least soundtrack. for the hell of it, just put it up as game of the year. You put Stray up there, an indie title, wonderful title with a cat in a post-apocalyptic robot world, but very out of place. Game of the year?
Right.
Really?
It's like, yeah, glorified like Goat Simulator, which, Goat Simulator, put that
That should be up. That should be up there.
It's like, come on, man,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? And
Yeah.
how much did Sonic Frontier sell? It sold like crazy.
It did pretty well, I think. So, yeah, I mean, at least in terms of Sega games, you're really never going to see a Sega game in Game of the Year. You'll probably never even see a Nintendo game really
Game of
up
the
in Game of the Year other than like Zelda. Because again, Zelda,
Dread came close. I was very happy.
that's true. That's true. But,
Right.
like Zelda has that sort of, it has that vibe, right?
Yeah.
It has that sort of, hey, this could be the industry poster game or something like an Elden Ring, like a God of War. So of course it's going to be in there. But like Mario Odyssey, which is probably one of the best Mario games ever made, if not the best,
Yeah.
they would
Kinda
never
weak.
consider that for game of. They would never at all. They'd be, what game of the no.
And they do. They I remember the year Breath of the Wild 1. Odyssey was in their runnings too for Game of the Year. But the amount of attention that Odyssey got was pretty much little to none. Same thing happened with Xenoblade. I think Xenoblade was just pushed so heavily by Nintendo to like get nominated. There's not that they're quality games, but I really thought Arceus was one of those games. I really, really thought it was a game that has the potential to be a game of the year because it was just so refined. And unlike any Pokemon game I've ever played.
What
And
baffles me about the new one, like this is a bit of a tangent, sorry, but they pushed that, like at least in advertising marketing, they pushed Scarlet and Violet really, really hard. Like they like advertised the absolute bejesus out of that, and like the fact that the finished product is like, and we complain about incomplete games and not having enough content and whatever, like with Strikers, and I think Strikers, like, it still plays the game itself. The gameplay is perfect. It still plays fine as it did on day one, right?
yeah,
But, like, the fact that they pushed it so hard with so much advertising in Scarlet and Violet, and then you get into a city and the frame rate slows down to like 1. Like,
yeah.
you're just like, what?
It's nuts. I do have to walk back my comments. Actually, I totally forgot that 2017 was like the best year in gaming ever.
Yes.
That we
Yeah,
got
it's like
Breath of the
Xenoblade,
Wild,
And
Xenoblade,
Mario
Odyssey, and Breath of
Odyssey,
the Wild.
Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I was a little bit wrong. Okay. That was a good year. Okay.
That's fantastic. I was just like, whoa, what is he saying? Let me quickly interject.
But I mean, again, I think it's very rare that they put Nintendo games in there. That's all. That's all I'm trying. That's all I'm trying to
Nintendo and
do.
Sega games always get robbed, and by now I'm just kind of used to it. I'm kind of tired of seeing like
there's definitely a bias for like the kind of next gen, like anything on PC Master Race and the latest PS4 and Xbox, right? Because then Nintendo's seen as that like kind of like kids facing company and stuff, and like
exactly.
Which is, and then the Game Awards kind of reflect the more adult facing, like, I guess.
Yeah,
we want to be like Hollywood and have
Yeah.
scandals happening. Yes.
Oh, Cuphead came out that year too, by the way. What is
2017? Man,
Best.
Tekken 7.
now you're gonna tell me like Final Fantasy 7 Remake came out in 2007.
There's a lot of good games actually. We're gonna Red Dead Redemption 2, I guess, came out that year too. Jeez. 2017.
That was the best gaming year ever.
That was the best year ever.
The original God of War too in 2017?
Yep.
Oh man.
Oh no, that was 2018.
No, that's 2018. God of War is 2018.
This is weird.
And same with Red Dead 2. Okay. That's 2018.
Oh, this is a different category. All right, sorry. No, that was anticipated. Okay, never mind. But anyways, Sonic Mania 2. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's like the best year you could have wanted. 2017-18 has been gold. 19 was kind of ho-hum, and then 2020 hit us like with the best games ever. Eternal came out, Doom Eternal, friggin' Final Fantasy VII Remake. And that's as far as my memory goes. Ghost of Tsushima came out. Like that was like a heavy year. And then something part two came out. But that's
something part.
you know,
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. But again, I'm kind of sad. Like those were the things that were robbed. There was a little bit of controversy at the end, but I'm gonna make a statement on behalf of us that we don't want to address it. We don't care. I don't think people like that just want more clout. I don't care. And it's just some jerk, and that's the thing. It would be funny to see the Elden Ring community ban against this individual, though, which I think there is
In a ring. Yeah.
There
They
is a
form the no symbol. Yeah.
because to upstage Miyazaki at the end is just not a cool thing, man. Not a cool thing at all.
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, it's just I'm very, very I'm pleased at how far we've come. Oh, small note. If you guys got to see Joseph Fares put on a suit and tie looking like he's at the Oscars that time. Really wonderful. There is never a moment that guy doesn't make me smile. He speaks from the heart. And that's I don't I never knew who he was. I didn't care about his games, but because of him as an individual, I had to not only do I love his games, but I love seeing him at the Game Awards. I love seeing Kojima and Jeff give each other the romantic eye. I love the romance that's blossoming
How did we
there.
not talk about that? Kojima's return, Death Stranding 2, or sorry, DS2.
DS2.
2DS. Yeah.
Oh,
What
That
a
acronym already exists. Yeah.
fantastic. And there's so many games that were announced at the show that look interesting. Remnant 2, off the top of my head comes to mind. Hades gets a sequel, which
Mm.
was one of my favorite roguelikes ever. Uh, and yeah, a Bayonetta spin-off, which was ruined because some mouthy voice actress said that they're gonna release another game, standalone game. And this is that game. And I'm thrilled. I absolutely adore and love it. And it's a title that I'm gonna probably pick up.